You have the power to change the world dramatically for the better right now. And it doesn't require you to do anything dramatic, even though it will be profoundly felt by others and very effective at reclaiming sovereignty and creating the peace we all long to experience. This method is not hard to accomplish, and it matters more than you can presently appreciate, especially right now. Stay with us until the end, and in this short video, we'll show you how you can wield this power right now, simply because of what you are. Good morrow, you magnificent godlings. Thanks so much for dropping by. We want to be as helpful as we can, so please, if you've any particular concerns you want us to address, comment on them below, and we will tailor some future sessions to your needs. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. Now, today we're going to talk about chi and resonance and coherence and the unified field that every one of us generates together. And most of you have felt this. You have felt how some people calm a room just by entering it. You've felt how certain voices change your body. You've felt tingles, waves, and currents, sometimes even at a distance. Now that's not imagination, it's coherence interacting with our shared field. So let's talk about chi. Chi is not a mystical substance floating around. Chi is an experience of coherence, a state where your nervous system, your breath, your attention, and your emotions all line up like instruments in tune. When coherence is affected, the body feels waves and tingles and currents, warmth and electricity, and sometimes kundalini rising. And yes, parts of this are measurable, like heart rate variability, rhythmic breath effects on vagal tones, fascial conduction, neural synchrony, for instance. When people talk about raising the chi, what they're really doing is reducing internal noise by creating coherence. Chi isn't a thing you add. It's a flow, constantly present and accessible when our systems become coherent enough to open the tap and allow that flow to be felt. The natural response is stunned, fixated calm, very alert presence as consciousness notices how novel and yet familiar the feeling is, because in the full experience of your godliest state, the body is quietly ablaze with shivers of delightful chi waves. Now, here's the next truth. Coherence is actually contagious. Have you ever noticed how a calm person calms an entire room? Or how anxious energy spreads like kind of static? That's not just psychology, it's resonance. Resonance means two systems begin vibrating in harmony. I learned this firsthand a few years ago as a deputy. Actually, it was quite a few years ago now. Two young men were squared off, and a crowd had gathered around them. Some of them were shouting for the young men to fight, and others were shouting that they should stop. The tension was high and everywhere. The whole place was really charged and unstable. I arrived. I said nothing. I leaned against the tree in the shade and simply watched. A few heads turned to eye me. The frantic shouting stopped, while the two young toughs huffed in adrenaline rush. "Aren't you going to do anything?" someone asked. I cleared my throat. "Yeah, I'm going to let them wear each other out, and then I'll arrest both of them," said I. The atmosphere changed instantly. The crowd dispersed. The fight dissolved before it even began. I nodded at the young men as they turned and walked away. Good call, guys. There had been about 30 people gathered there, and I didn't control them. I steadied the field. Calm is more infectious than chaos when it is embodied and witnessed. particularly when it seems counter to the expectations of the witness or witnesses. When others are freaking out, your calm, embodied with purpose and lucidity, is highly transformative. It is the most transformative it's ever going to be, in fact. So when one person becomes coherent, others nearby begin to synchronize with that coherence. It's not by force or projection, and it's not by sending energy, but it's by entrainment. It's like two tuning forks or adjacent strings on a violin. If you pluck one, its neighbors on either side will hum and echo. They entrain, not by touching, but by sharing a medium. We share a medium too. That medium is consciousness. So the truth is unity. It's one consciousness experiencing itself as each of us and every other manifestation too. So what is the unified field? We are all differentiated expressions of the one unified field. We are not separate bodies throwing energy at each other. There is no here versus there. No my energy versus your energy. Only one field expressing as multiple extensions, and where those extensions are coherent and lucid, as they become as nodes of the field itself. The field begins to embody more in those individuals. So, how does remote chi work? Well, when someone listens and becomes coherent, or they watch, or they feel into what you, the healer, are doing, through your voice, your rhythm, your steadiness, your own field's coherence, their body then begins to go into coherence, and a wave is passed through that individual. The coherence pattern started with the healer, propagated through the field, and was experienced as a wave in echo in their target. The coherence itself creates an open local tap through which the chi of the field, the power, the felt power, naturally flows. It's like water in a hose. It's constantly there, but you have to open the tap to experience that flow. The field is one. The truth is unity. Everything else is but dreams of separation. Now I'll give you a simple practice so that you can induce your own coherence and raise your own chi. And this is what I use. I simply still my breath, slow it down, make it deep and slow and relaxed. I don't pay any more attention to it after the first one or up to 3 breaths. I drop my attention into my chest here. And I feel the center under the sternum. I focus on the feeling of the loving presence in my chest. And I say or think, addressing with my attention to that inner presence, beloved. And so in this way, I call upon the presence, addressing it with my focused attention. I wait until I feel the presence turn its attention back to me. If you focus on that and call again, hail beloved, you are ever with me. I am deeply grateful for your loving gaze. Or whatever similar thing, loving words you feel inspired and prompted to say. Direct this with your attention into that center stillness. This will repeat it correctly, trying different wordings, likely raise a shiver of chi, standing your skin and goose flesh. You should allow that to spread, enjoying the attention of your dearest beloved. So if you do this over and over again, hailing it lovingly and basking in its attention over and over, until you have learned what sorts of loving expression enhance your coherence and open you to the flow of chi. So chi is not commanded, but it is summoned by opening your own heart center by focusing your attention on the loving presence within your chest, who has never left you nor failed to love you perfectly, in complete allowance, no matter what you did or failed to do. So, chi flows when resistance to acknowledging that presence dissolves. And here's an ethical consideration we have to take out of that. When your coherence rises, others entrain with it. When you fall into identification with your wounds and your grievances, that too is contagious. What you do in your holiest of hearts, what do you, rather, in your holiest of hearts, wish to contribute and create in the field? So consider lucidly, what state do you want others to synchronize to, and realize all adversities in life call upon you to rise into lucidity, where you can choose what you allow to infect your field, and so offer to the world we all share. Offer it calm, and the storms will all pass. Offer it compassion, and your path will grace others, and so be graced. Offer love that allows instead of grappling for control, and things fall magically into place. Offer the world your lucid presence, and you will look upon it with forgiving eyes, and in so doing, know your own redemption. Lucidity is the state from which you are empowered to make all of these choices. Only the lucid dreamer can change the dream, because they're not so caught up in identification with it. The rest are swept up in the momentum of their conditioned minds, and so their karma. The world needs more lucid beings stoking our own coherence. And if you become one, you will make the world more sane simply by resting your loving attention upon it, because a rising tide lifts all ships, and lucidity is the tide the world needs right now. That's it for today, you magnificent godlings. Thanks so much for being here. We really love you. We really appreciate you liking and subscribing. If there's anything you need help from us, either leave it in the comments or reach out to us through the store at crackedpotpublishing.com. Meanwhile, stay lucid and change the world by being your magnanimously magnificent lucid self. Together, we shall put out that little eye that keeps us all so blind.